Last night's game for Devin Booker was one that was very impressive for me. One of the last remaining points of growth I'm looking for in his game specifically is his processing speed based off of the varying coverages that he sees, whether that's one on one with help defense around him or if he's seeing two on the ball as he comes off or even crosses half court like he saw against Miami last night. And just looking at his processing speed and playmaking ability out of those advantages that the defenses is giving. So if you zoom out, you look at the box score only, you see they only have 5 assists with 2 turnovers, which is decent. However, if you look past the box score and you actually zoom in and watch the game, you'll see just how impactful he was with his playmaking and the efficiency on his playmaking based off of the consistent pressure that he was receiving all game. And that'll just help you appreciate his growth as a player. So, um, what's key about doubles, even more so than his processing speed, is also the ability for his teammates to understand how to operate out of those scenarios as well. And that's a big part of the evolution for the Suns. It's not just him seeing that, but his teammates seeing that, making themselves readily available in real time with recognition and playing advantage ball out of that. Miami consistently gave the Suns an advantage to play out of last night with Devin Booker getting 2 ons consistently, and that's what we're here to break down here. So let's get rolling. I'll let this first one kind of flow through here. So we see Mikal setting his usual screens, not necessarily getting too much contact, but just enough to initiate the switch. The Heat concede, and then not only do they give the switch, but they go switch and double. And you see there's going to be a missed shot from Mikal here, but look at the switch. After the switch, Devin Booker recognizing that the double is coming, so the roll goes through, and Mikal, not just Devin Booker, as he gets into his retreat drills and he sees the double coming. Mikal, I keep harping on others recognizing the coverage and making themselves available. Look at Mikal have the light bulb go off right here as he changes directions. He's looking back and he sees it. He's like, oh, light bulb. I need to flash to a nail. That's what he does. Makes himself available to play out of the 2 on from Devin Booker. But it's a highly efficient shot that they get out of this. Great processing from the Suns here in the half court, playing off the doubles. All right, this next one here, it's going to be another switch and double. This time, a different variety is campaign. Kind of ghosts this screen to try to get Max Strus on the Devin Booker. That he concede. They go switch and double. And then they rotate out of it quickly. But the pass from Devin Booker is so quick that it allows for not just a spray out of the double, but also for the next play to be made. So the spray pass is made out of the double, and then they go spray and kick. And Campaign's able to get it over quickly to Damian Lee, who's readily available and knocks down a three from the opposite corner with a quick trigger. All right, and then we get into this next rep here. So with Bam Adebayo specifically, the Heat were just going, bringing him up out of his drop, which he was in for a majority of the game, unless Devin Booker had the ball, he would be up at the level of the screen. So here, you see him jump up to the level. It's just a flat-out switch. And really the point of emphasis with all of the trapping that the Heat are doing and switching in general is just to flatten out the Suns' offense. So you can see there's a point where Devin Booker ends up getting the attention that the Heat are trying to put on him as he comes off the screens. There's a point where they're just trying to flatten him out. You can see it, you can kind of feel it with the stagnation in the offense, but that's part of the process when you're operating out of double teams. So as he does a great job accepting the defense for what it is, hitting the spray man as Damian Lee makes himself available, ends up boomeranging back to Booker, and now in space with good spacing from the Suns here, he's enabled the opportunity to go isolation against a consistent potential defensive player of the year candidate. Does a great job with his pace changes and getting to a spot where he's comfortable operating from. He has multiple spots like this all over the floor. Great patience, great handle, layup. All right, now we're going to get here. They kind of get into a little bit of action and activity where they're getting him the ball on a move because they know that so many double teams have been coming his way. So they end up having Devin Booker ghost here. He ghosts into a throw and get in the empty corner with Mikal Bridges. They get the switch that they're looking for. And Miami goes again with another switch and double. This time, Jimmy does a good job kind of disguising it more, waiting until Devin Booker makes a move and commits to it, and then sends the double on after the switch. And they do a good job here kind of funneling him a little bit in the corner, but on the baseline even more so. But Mikal Bridges does a good job following the trapper, following the tag, and making himself available as a release valve. Devin Booker hits it with a great bounce pass, and Mikal knocks this down. This is a big part of the evolution. All right, and this is where it kind of got fun. So the Suns typically do a lot of spamming the same actions or sets with Chris Paul at the helm. Again, after seeing how the Heat specifically were guarding Devin Booker in this game, in this stretch here, late in the third quarter, they went to their away flow into a 77 with the double drag. They went to a three possessions in a row on offense. So here we're going to see the away screen set for Mikal Bridges. That ends up flowing into the 77 action. The 77 kind of gets stagnated because, again, Miami's switching everything out on the perimeter. So the man that Mikal Bridges would typically screen, who was initially guarding Devin Booker, would usually be Jimmy Butler, but because it's switching, he kind of misses it here, but it's okay because it's part of the process for them. But that guy ends up being who the middle guy is, which is here, Gabe Vincent. Devin Booker does a good job coming off of the next screen with patience. And then this is where it gets fun here because you can look at what's kind of developing here. You see what's taken away and what passes the Heat are enticing him to make. They're enticing the skip passes because it's nearly impossible to make based off of the double team that he's getting with two on the ball here. But Devin Booker's growth and evolution as a playmaker allows him for not only peep and see who's open and understand where the help defense is outside of the trap, but to also be able to get the pass to the skip, which is a direct line pass to Dwayne Washington Jr., who was knocking down threes all game. Again, he missed this one initially. They would get the offensive rebound, and it would flow into another three for Dwayne Washington, which he would connect on. But it's the initial pass out. Miami's really flattening out the Suns' half-court offense, but look at Devin Booker countering this flattening out with a stretch and just stretching the rotations. Great pass. It's missed, but again, they ended up getting 3 out of this possession. But it's the general flow that he keeps, and this allows for the Sun to continue to play advantage basketball out of the advantage being presented by the Miami Heat. So here's a second rep with them going with the away into 77 action here. Mikal Bridges, like last time, I said he missed the initial screen. This time, understanding the coverage, knocks it off this time, does a good job. Devin Booker comes off with intention. He sees that they're kind of overloading a little bit more here, and the angle's not there to hit the skip again. So this time, instead of hitting the skip, he's going to hit the spray man, who is Mikal Bridges. It then kicks around to the weak side, and then it hits DeAndre Ayton, the roll man, in the post. And he does a good job making a good advantage play out of this in the post with good patience. Gets into his always reliable hook shot and knocks that one down. And then here's the third rep. So the first rep with away in the 77, they hit the skip from Devin Booker to the weak side. Dwayne Washington misses. The second play they hit the spray man, and the spray man kicks, and then they get into the post to the roller for an easy two. And then now we're gonna see Devin Booker hit the roll man directly. This is again after, and this angle shows it even better. This is after again stretching the defense in different ways. They get into Devin Booker starting to play and dictate with his pace and with his eyes. Can't really see it from that view, but as they transition into the next view, this is where you can really see him playing with his eyes. Kyle Lowry's a low man here. Devin Booker does a good job kind of speeding up the pace a little bit here. And there's no retreat dribble. He kind of dribbles into the 2-on and then does a good job holding Kyle Lowry with his eyes. You can see Kyle Lowry kind of stops rotating over to DeAndre Ayton. And Ayton does a good job selling in an open spot to where he's readily available to be the release valve and catch. And it ends up being an easy two for the Suns. Again, beating the 2-on scenario. And here's the last rep here we're gonna go over in this film session. So again, when Bam Adebayo was involved in the pick and rolls with Devin Booker, these automatically just became flat out switches with no double teams. They actually end up sending one here, unlike they did earlier in the process with Devin Booker and Bam Adebayo. They send one here, and look at Damian Lee. Again, it's not just the recognition in real time from Devin Booker, but the recognition from his teammates and seeing the coverage and making themselves available based on what the scenario presents. Damian Lee has a high IQ. He sees it, the double team coming. He could have shortened the passing lane if he wanted to, but he decides to sink to the corner. He's empty on that side. And this was the correct decision to make as he distances himself from not only his man, but the help defense. Devin Booker hits him right on time and on target. And a quick release to the three allows for Damian Lee to knock down yet another three in this game. Devin Booker's process and speed with operating out of 2-on scenarios is just completely evolved, even from the end of the postseason run from last season coming into this season. And not only is his process and speed expedited, but so is his teammates. And it's allowed for the Suns to not lose their flow and to consistently invite the pressure that Devin Booker is getting to then play advantage basketball out of and do so in an efficient manner.